Hello, I'm Locke Meredith with Legal Lines. We're very fortunate to have on the show today the Attorney General for the state of Louisiana, the whole state. He received 1.2 million votes when he ran for the Attorney General, and he's served the position almost 12 years at the end of this term. He's going to talk to us about the duties and responsibilities that he's had as the Attorney General. He's going to give us a little history about his past, and he's going to talk about his desire to be the governor of our state. It's a very interesting interview, and we'd love to have you with us. So join us on Legal Lines. Welcome. I'm Locke Meredith with Legal Lines, and we're very fortunate to have with us today the Attorney General for the state of Louisiana, Richard Ieyoub.
Hey, Locke, how are you?
Thank you so much for being with us.
My pleasure.
First question. I hear they call you the General.
Right.
What's that about?
Well, I think that's a traditional name that all attorneys general are called. Instead of just saying Attorney General every time, the people begin to say just General. Obviously, it doesn't matter to me whether anybody calls me General or not, as long as what they do call me is respectable, I hope. But that's just a traditional name that other attorneys general have had throughout history.
Now, what is an Attorney General? I know a lot of folks see you as kind of the spokesman on the legal side for the state, but explain to us what is it that you do?
Well, the Attorney General is a constitutional office. In other words, it is provided for in the Constitution of the state of Louisiana. And basically, the Attorney General is the chief legal officer of the state. I represent the state of Louisiana. And the Constitution gives broad powers and authority to the Attorney General.
We're talking about the Constitution of the state of Louisiana.
Correct. In fact, there is a provision in the Constitution dealing with the responsibilities and duties of the Attorney General, which provides that the Attorney General shall have the authority to initiate and intervene in any civil action where the rights of the state are impacted. Now, that's a broad grant of authority. And I guess the Attorney General, depending upon what type of individual he or she is and exactly how they want to handle the job, might get involved in just about anything where the interests of the state are involved. Whether it be fighting crime, or whether it be trying to do something about substance abuse education, or things of that sort. I'm very proactive. In other words, if I see a particular problem that is developing, I try to do something about that problem before it actually happens and just simply react to it. So I have expanded the Attorney General's office from a rather narrowly focused agency to one that is multifaceted and that involves itself with just about anything that has an impact on the quality of life of our citizens.
And so when we say you're in essence the chief legal officer for the state of Louisiana is the people of Louisiana.
Absolutely, absolutely. I represent the people, and I believe the chief responsibility of the Attorney General is to protect the health, safety, and welfare of the people of Louisiana and use whatever legal means at his disposal to do so. There is an ancient legal principle called parens patriae, that's the Latin for it, which means father of the country. And it's applicable to attorneys general. In other words, I try to protect our people. And certainly my focus has been on protecting children, protecting our senior citizens, protecting our consumers, by fighting crime. I established a criminal division, an investigative division in the Attorney General's office, and I recall very vividly that when I ran for Attorney General, that was one of the planks in my platform. It was met with a lot of skepticism by the newspapers and other individuals because they said, well, the Attorney General doesn't have anything to do with fighting crime. Well, I didn't buy that. Now we have a fantastic set of prosecutors and investigators that travel this state assisting district attorneys and sheriffs and other police agencies investigating and prosecuting criminals that prey on our people, that hurt our individuals, that try to sell drugs to our young people. So we're actively involved in the fight against crime.
And y'all deal with, or in both the state court system and the federal court system.
Absolutely. You know, in addition to the traditional activities that an attorney general normally gets involved in, for instance, defending the state, state against lawsuits for injuries that might occur on state highways, or defending the state when a statute is challenged constitutionally, or so on and so forth. In addition to those traditional things, I saw a need to really get involved in other matters. For instance, school safety. After Columbine, and if you watched what happened at Columbine, it was obvious that there was total chaos. The school was not prepared for such a tragedy. The teachers and students were running around the building making easy targets for the shooters. Law enforcement was late. Nobody knew exactly what to do. And after Columbine, I said, we need a comprehensive school safety plan in the state of Louisiana so we can at least train people on how to react if such a tragedy occurs in a Louisiana school. We developed a fantastic, comprehensive school safety plan. We put it on CD-ROM, and we distributed it to every school district in the state of Louisiana. That particular plan is now being used by other states.
Really?
It coordinates the efforts of law enforcement. It tells teachers and administrators exactly how to react. It will certainly save lives and hopefully property. We can't guarantee that a tragedy will never occur in one of our schools. What we can guarantee is that we are prepared in the event something like that happens, so that we can limit any type of loss of life.
So you've expanded, as you said, not because it's politically expedient,
Right.
but you're doing it because it is what you consider to be one of your responsibilities.
Absolutely. In other words, I think that I need to do as Attorney General what needs to be done to protect our people. Our senior citizens, for instance, they're targets for scam artists. Telemarketers
Read about it all the time.
Absolutely. The telemarketers target our senior citizens with all types of scams. We shut down two of the largest telemarketing schemes in the nation, one in New Orleans and one in Shreveport, that were taking advantage of our senior citizens, in many cases taking their life savings away from them. In addition to that, we're very, very careful that they are protected against consumer fraud. One particular case, for instance, we discovered that a pharmaceutical company that manufactured medication to treat Alzheimer's patients had entered into a conspiracy with the manufacturer of two of the ingredients necessary to manufacture the medication. After they entered that conspiracy and got a monopoly on the ingredients, they raised the price of that medication 3,000%. Now understand that this medication was used mainly by our senior citizens, Alzheimer's patients. Can you imagine?
So they don't have any comprehension of what's going on?
Absolutely, and they're absolutely callous. They raised the price of a bottle of 1,000 pills from $22 to $754.
What'd you do?
We busted them. That's what we did. We went after them. We stopped them. We made them pay back all the money. We sued them civilly. We gave the money back to the consumers, and we told them if they ever did it again, we'd run them out of business. And we've got our eye on other pharmaceutical companies that are trying to take advantage of our senior citizens and people that are ill and sick. I will not tolerate that. That is callous. That is unconscionable.
What are the hot issues that you see facing the Attorney General's office right now?
Well, I think some of the main issues that I believe are important are, for instance, substance abuse by our younger kids.
Tell you what, General, let me stop you here. We'll talk about that. I want to talk about the other issues, and I want to talk about your past, because I know you've been involved in the DA's office, and let's talk about that so we have a big picture.
Right.
This is Legal Lines with Locke Meredith. We'll be right back. Welcome back. I'm Locke Meredith with Legal Lines. Again, we're very fortunate to have on the show today the Attorney General for the state of Louisiana, Richard Ieyoub. General, again, thanks for being with us.
It's good to be here.
We were talking about the major issues that you see facing the Attorney General's office, and you start talking about drug abuse.
Right.
Tell me about that.
Well, I think substance abuse is very insidious. I mean, it knows no social lines whatsoever. It attacks all of our children, no matter what social status they they have, where they live, what race or what have you.
Affects every part of our
every
society.
part of our society. I would say that about 80% of those individuals that are in prison today are drug users. That's how insidious it is. I wanted to find out particularly what the substance abuse problem was insofar as our young people in Louisiana were concerned.
How'd you do that?
Well, I went around the state and I met with students from all over the state, in every area of the state, and I'd have public meetings with them, and I would ask them, what is your substance abuse problem, if you have one, in your particular area? And I was very surprised at the answer. I thought I would get an answer like marijuana, crack cocaine, amphetamines, or what have you. But I got the same answer no matter where I was, whether it was in New Orleans or Shreveport or Lake Charles, Lafayette, Baton Rouge, Alexandria, you name it. The same answer, alcohol.
That does not surprise
They
me.
said, Mr. Ieyoub, if you want to do something about alcohol, about substance abuse, do something about alcohol.
I guess it's the starting point, isn't it?
It's the starting point. It was easy for them to get. We had retailers that were selling alcohol to minors. We had 14 and 15-year-old individuals that were buying alcohol and getting drunk. They said, this has to stop. So we initiated a program called You Drink, You Drive, You Walk. That particular program combined tough enforcement against retailers that sold to minors. It combined legislation that finally raised the drinking age in Louisiana from 18 to 21. We educated young students in every high school about how to educate their peers on what damage that can be caused by drinking alcohol and driving. Educating them and telling them all about it. We enforce the laws very strictly. And so that particular program was very, very effective. And in fact, it was chosen by the United States Highway Commission as one of the 23 best programs in the United States for dealing with alcohol abuse by young people. So we're very, very proud of that. And after we started trying to do something about alcohol abuse, we obviously began to look at other drugs that were being used by our young people. I'm a very strong supporter of the DARE programs, which are educational programs. You see, Locke, if we can interdict drugs all of the time. In other words,
what do you mean?
By interdicting drugs, I mean we can arrest drug dealers. We can try to stop the flow of drugs into the country. We do a good job in that particular area with law enforcement. But unless we do something about the demand for drugs, we're not going to make any progress. We've got to have that demand for drugs come down, and you attack the demand for drugs by educating our young people from the very early ages. If I had my way, there would be drug education, substance abuse education from kindergarten through the 12th grade in every school in the state of Louisiana. Because once they learn about the consequences of substance abuse, both physical and illegal, then they know something about it, and it will probably keep them from getting involved. As a DA, I saw many, many cases where kids who were busted for the use of controlled dangerous substances really didn't know what they were facing.
Let's talk about your past, because you've had varying roles, and I think they've kind of given you a big picture. So tell me, you graduated from where? I
graduated from McNeese State University. It's a small university in my hometown of Lake Charles. I was a student that liked staying home. I mean, I enjoyed going to college in my hometown. And so I graduated from McNeese, and after graduating from McNeese, I went to LSU Law School and got my law degree.
Where'd you go from there?
From there, I went into the Attorney General's office. That was my first job. I worked in the criminal division of the Attorney General's office.
And what'd you do?
I was a prosecutor.
Meaning what?
Well, I of course, represented the state of Louisiana in criminal cases, prosecuting those individuals or bringing those individuals who committed crimes to trial. And I represented the state against those people that broke our criminal laws. Okay. And after about 2.5 years at that job, I went back to Lake Charles, went into private practice, where I did mostly trial work, both civil trials and criminal trials. And then after about 10 years of that, I ran for district attorney of Calcasieu Parish and was elected. And I served a full term of 6 years.
I think you told me it wasn't expected that you would prevail there, was it?
That's right. I mean, I was not supposed to win that race. In fact, when I decided to run, even my best friends told me, "Don't do it. You're gonna get killed." I mean, I was running against a very popular judge who had the backing of all the political pundits in Calcasieu Parish, all the political giants, the machine, the dynasty in Calcasieu Parish, and so I was not even thought to have any chance whatsoever. But we worked very hard, as has been characteristic.
Basically, get out and talk to the folks.
We got out and talked to people. We went door to door. We told them what we were going to do, that we were going to be energetic and active in protecting them and protecting law enforcement. And we won by 63% of the vote. So we were very happy with that. And I was reelected without opposition.
Wow.
After serving 1 year of my second term, I decided to run for Attorney General. My predecessor, Billy Gust, decided to retire, and I made the decision to run for Attorney General because I wanted to have an opportunity to have a bigger impact and make a difference for the entire state if I could. And I thought that being Attorney General would afford me that opportunity, which it has. And so I ran for Attorney General. Again, I started out at 2% in the polls.
Right.
So you can't always believe what you read in polls. You know, it is a matter of hard work and being able to connect with the people.
And heart.
And winning the trust of the people. I was elected with 1,200,000 votes, 1.2 million votes, which I understand is the largest number of votes that's ever been accumulated in any race by anybody in the state of Louisiana history. You know?
Wow.
And so I was.
And you've been there 12 years.
I'm in my third term. After the end of this term, I will have served 12 years as Attorney General. It's been very rewarding in the sense that I've had an opportunity to try to help our people. That's where I get my satisfaction, in making a difference. You know, John Kennedy once said, one man can make a difference and every man should try. And I got a lot of self-satisfaction out of believing that I was helping children, senior citizens, and the citizens of Louisiana live a better quality of life. And that's why I'm in politics.
And I understand that you want to move from the AG's office to governor now.
Absolutely. I have made a decision to run for governor in 2003 because I believe that I can give Louisiana the type of bold, energetic, effective leadership that we need at this time.
All right, General, I want to talk to you about that in the next segment. This is Locke Meredith with Legal Lines. We'll be right back. Welcome back. I'm Locke Meredith with Legal Lines. We're very pleased to have with us the Attorney General for the state of Louisiana, Richard Ieyoub, who is running for governor, and that's what we're going to talk about now. General, tell me about that. I understand that you're going to run for governor.
Locke, I've made that decision to do so because I think that Louisiana is in a present trend that is harmful. I've talked to economists all over the state, and they say that if we maintain the trend that we're in right now, within 10 years we will not be able to compete with other states.
Trend being what? Trend of what?
Trend being that we're losing people instead of people moving to Louisiana. That's one thing. We have a horrible problem with out-migration. In a 10-year period of time, we lost about 140,000 people. More people are moving out of Louisiana than moving in. If we maintain that sort of trend, we're going to end up with an aging population without young, productive individuals that are educated who are able to sustain an economic base. And we're not going to be able to compete. We've got to make more opportunity for people in Louisiana so we can keep our young people here instead of having them go to Dallas or to Houston or to Atlanta. We've got to have economic development. In order to have economic development, you need a governor that's going to be out there 24 hours a day selling Louisiana to the outside world and telling them just how rich and able we are. We are a very rich state insofar as resources go. Don't let anybody ever tell you that we're a poor state. We're not insofar as natural resources. Unfortunately, we have a high number of people living at a poverty level, which is a tragedy. But consider that we supply 1/3 of all the oil and gas in this country, 1/3 of all
Really?
absolutely, 1/3 of all the seafood. 3 of the 10 largest seaports in this nation are located in Louisiana. We manufacture more petrochemicals in the country of Japan, and we have the Mississippi River that runs the full length of the state. Now, how does Mississippi compare with that, or Alabama? Yet it appears that they are beating us in economic development. Why? Because they have very active governors that are traveling around, meeting with CEOs, and convincing them that Mississippi and Alabama is the place to be insofar as business is concerned.
So the key, as you see it, is to go out and bring corporations and business to Louisiana?
Exactly. You're going to hear a lot of people talk about economic development, education, and healthcare services. And if we're going to try to do anything about those 3 things, something much more fundamental is required, and that is leadership. Bold, aggressive, energetic leadership. People ask me as I travel around the state, why did Mississippi get that big Nissan plant? $900 million Nissan plant, creating 7,000 jobs. Why did they go to Mississippi instead of Louisiana? We have so much more than them. Well, the easy answer is that the governor of Mississippi went out and got it. And the same is true in Alabama. They have Hyundai, Honda, Mercedes-Benz creating all types of jobs. We need somebody in the governor's office in Baton Rouge that's going to travel as many miles as it takes and work as many hours as it takes to bring industry and business to Louisiana, creating opportunity for our young people, expanding our revenue base, and then moving forward to modernize Louisiana. In order to do that, you need somebody with energy. You need somebody with integrity that can win the hearts and minds of the people, someone they can connect with.
And trust.
And trust. And I think that I can offer the people, I would like to believe I can offer the people that. I've got a good record as Attorney General. I have served the people for 12 years now in that capacity. We have made tremendous gains in that office.
In fact, you brought millions of dollars to the state via this tobacco litigation.
Absolutely.
Tell me about that.
The tobacco litigation was, I think, historic. We determined that the tobacco companies were actually conspiring to try to addict our young people to nicotine. And they did it with clever advertising and the manipulation of the amounts of nicotine in cigarettes. They consciously did it. And their targets were kids between the ages of 13 and 18.
And you're not just surmising this from that external. You actually read a memorandum, didn't you?
We had evidence such as memorandum, for instance, from a supervisor to a research scientist, in which the supervisor says to the scientist, how much nicotine would it take to hook a 17-year-old? Unconscionable. That was what was happening. And the reason they targeted kids between the ages of 13 and 18 was because 85% of today's adult smokers begin between those ages.
So get them young and you get them
young. Get them young. Get them hooked. If you don't get them hooked before the age of 18, chances are you will not get them hooked. Now, smoking-related diseases is the biggest killer of Americans that there is. I mean, it kills more Americans than accidents, murders, homicides, any other type of disease. 450,000 Americans die every year as a result of smoking-related diseases. And here they were trying to hook our young people.
So what'd you do?
We filed a lawsuit against them. We brought them to the table. This was the first time that the tobacco companies had ever lost any type of a case or settled any type of a case against them. Because the individual that filed against
doesn't have the resources.
No resources, no opportunity. They spend $600 million a year to put 2,700 of the best lawyers in the United States on a retainer. The tobacco companies. We got $4.6 billion for the state of Louisiana to recompense us.
B as in billion.
As in billion. To reimburse us for the money that our state spent in trying to treat smoking-related diseases, which was about $400 million a year of taxpayer money. Now that money, we securitized 60% of that money. By that I mean we got the money up front.
Cash in your pocket.
Cash in the pocket. $1.2 billion is in Louisiana right now.
Paying for services that the state's providing to its citizens now?
We did something good. We created trust funds. And we put that money in trust funds, which can only be used for both education and health initiatives.
Excellent.
We're going to have it forever because of the interest that it's going to earn. We're going to be able to improve our educational system. We're going to be able to do something about our health care services and medical research to try to find cures for diseases. It was a historic thing, and the people of Louisiana didn't have to pay one penny to get that $4.6 billion judgment, not one penny. And I think that that's going to be tremendous for the state of Louisiana in the future. I believe that we're going to be able to do things with it that we would not have been able to do because of the very serious fiscal situation that exists in our state.
Bottom line is it doesn't solve all the problems we have, and that's why we need a leader up there.
Absolutely, exactly. But it's going to go a long way in helping us.
I know you're a husband and a father. What motivates you to want to make the sacrifice in those relationships to the extent you're going to have to be governor?
I believe that everybody has to give something back. I mean, I feel very fortunate to live in this state, in this country. My parents taught me early on that one should live a life of service for other people. I don't make a lot of money as Attorney General of the state of Louisiana. In fact, I probably could make 4 times the amount of money if I was in private practice. But I felt like I had to do something to return what I have been given. I had to do something to serve our people. I believe serving other individuals is the way to go in life. And that's why I think I need to try to do whatever I can to make life better for people.
General, thank you so much for being on the show, and best wishes in the
Thank you very much.
This is Legal Lines with Locke Meredith. Thanks for being with us.